We Imhotep Nefer Kemet. Welcome in great peace to Egypt. I am Ameny, the foreman of the potters and the overseer of the brickmakers. And I lived during the New Kingdom. I am best known for my work at the workshop of Deir el-Medina Necropolis, where I created a variety of pottery vessels for different purposes. I am credited with creating a special type of pottery, which is characterized by its distinctive black-topped and red-bodied vessels. I have crossed the time barrier to talk to you about pottery and brickmaking in Egypt. In this episode, I'll talk to you about brickmaking in our country. Brickmaking in Egypt was a significant skill that enabled the construction of vast structures throughout the land along the Nile. Whether in our era or in your current time, the same technique for brickmaking is still the same. Even our style of mud brick houses along the Nile River can still be seen in all villages of your current time. The process of making mud bricks involved the use of clay, straw, and water. The first step in brickmaking is the collection of clay. Nile River mud is the most common source of clay in our country. Workers dig pits in the ground to access the clay and bring it to the brickmaking site. Once the clay is collected, it is mixed with other materials such as straw, grass, or animal dung to improve its consistency and strength. The consistency of the mud had to be perfect to ensure the bricks could hold their shape. The plastic and cohesive characteristics of the bricks depend on the amount of clay. The tools used included molds for shaping the bricks, hoes, and shovels for mixing the clay, and sleds for transporting the clay to the brickmaking site. The mixed clay is then placed in wooden molds to give it the desired shape. The mold should be cleaned after each brick is made. This prevents pieces of dried mud from sticking to the mold. The mix should be squeezed into the mold to get a strong outer frame and get a smooth texture. When the mold is full to the brim, the brickmaker wets his hands and smoothens the surface of the brick. Then the mold is carefully removed, leaving the smooth brick to dry. After about 3 days, the bricks are turned over to dry the other sides. The name of the king may be stamped on the bricks of his buildings. Thereafter, the brick was removed from the mold, and it was stored in a cool, dry place before being used in construction. Afterward, the bricks are left to dry in the sun. Once dried, they are stacked and covered with damp sand or cloth. This prevents them from cracking as they continue to cure. The workers afterward carry the bricks on their heads, backs, or in baskets, and transport them to the construction sites. The molding of mud bricks can also be an element in the depictions of royal foundation ceremonies. Such a scene is represented at Edfu in the second hypostyle hall on the left-hand side of the east wall in the bottom register. And then makes a big brick in an oversized brick mold. The king then presents to the god some bricks to start the construction of the temple. The important ANASTASI papyrus from Memphis preserved some references to brickmaking. It dates back to the 19th dynasty, circa 1292 to 1187 BC. Among other things, the ANASTASI papyrus represents a scribal training piece, which includes an example of a mathematical process of calculating the number of bricks required for the building of a construction ramp of a prescribed size. Although the dimensions of the ramp are unusual, such a training text means that young scribes would be required to make such calculations in daily life situations. Firing the bricks is known since the Roman period. Although there are few examples from the New Kingdom period showing the use of red bricks. After curing for several weeks, the bricks are stacked into a kiln and fired at a high temperature. This process makes the bricks stronger and more resistant to water. Mud brickmaking has played a vital role throughout Egyptian history, with the oldest mud bricks dating back to around 5000 BC. We used mud bricks to build a variety of constructions, but mainly houses for nobles and commoners as well as palaces for the kings. The use of mud bricks also helped to keep the inside of buildings cool in the hot Egyptian climate. These are models of mud brick houses. And that is a representation of a nobleman's house. This is how the facade of a royal house looks like. These constructions vanished as mud brick is a perishable material. These are the ruins of the houses in Coronies at Al Fayyum province. That is all of what remained of the palace of the great King Amenhotep III circa 1400 BC. That is contrary to tombs, temples, and pyramids, in which stone blocks were used in their construction. As can be seen in the Karnak temples and the pyramids of Giza. The huge mud brick precinct that surrounds a temple shows the undulating arrangement of the bricks to resemble the waves of the primordial ocean from which all forms of life evolved. We also used mud bricks to build huge fortifications like that at Buhan in Sudan. Due to the low cost, an abundance of mud, and an easy manufacturing process, mud bricks were highly accessible and widely used. The legacy of mud brickmaking resonates in contemporary Egypt, where many homes and buildings are still constructed using the same technique. And even the style of our mud brick houses is still used in your village houses. So, like father, like son.
Make sure to tune into my next videos. If you have any thoughts or questions, add them to your comments. Kindly press the like, share, and subscribe buttons. I'm Farag Al-Sharabasi, and see you in the next episodes. Thank you.